which people don't often talk about, but as a Muslim, I can tell you what our Creator has informed us. That's the only way we can stop our speculation. We can be sure that it is people's pride. Pride. Like, I don't want to bow down to someone because you're a human being like me. Maybe more intelligent than me, but still a human being. Why am I going to bow down to you? The pride within us stops us somehow to say, no, there is a Creator who is greater than us, who is more knowledgeable and more powerful than us. That is what, and the stubbornness to persist on that, it stops many people to believe in a Creator because they have this internal struggle to come up with this. There seems to be something out there, but how can it be? How can someone always exist? And I don't want to believe in that. That is one of the important reasons why people don't believe in a Creator. That they think like, I cannot accept that there is a being, an agent, who is always there. Do you know that this is a rational conclusion? Because if something is here now, there has to be always something. There cannot be a point in time there was absolute nothingness. Because absolute nothingness cannot bring about anything, cannot do anything. It has no energy, no quantum fields, no power or ability. So if something exists today, there has to be always something. This is another argument for the existence of either the universe being always there or the creator of this universe. But there are arguments against the universe being always there. Even the science will tell you our universe had a beginning, and then they're trying to find other ways of escaping that, because beginning means the beginner, someone brought into existence. They will say maybe there are multiverses. This universe is the product of another universe and another universe. But still, it doesn't solve the problem. Multiverse doesn't solve the problem of origin of a universe, because the universe itself needs an explanation. Whether it has many universes is still the same. What originated whatever universe that you think of in the beginning?
So I said I don't believe in God, and that's clearly a controversial point. I'll be honest, I don't really believe in the Big Bang Theory either.
But you have an explanation,
like
right?
Nonsense. No, I don't.
But but you have an explanation.
I just said I'm a monkey trying to work my way through this.
But you're an intelligent person. You can assess what scientists are saying, and you can say this is ridiculous, not believable. Or you can say there's some.
Science evolves; it changes. You
Correct.
throw stuff away.
Correct. But as much as science has told us, we know that the universe is expanding. That is, we established something. Redshift. Redshift.
Have you read so I tried to understand the whole thing about
so he does
the universe
read.
Expanding. Yes, I read.
You know, he shows like he's not interested. But okay, Karen, what's your name? What's
Alex.
Your name?
And
Alex,
it didn't,
being intelligent but somehow not showing off. Anyway,
the whole universe expanding thing didn't make any sense to me as
Why
well.
not?
I think I just might not be smart enough to understand it, to be honest. It's based on experiments in physics with mathematical equations that cover the whole blackboard. And some brainy guy scratches his chin and goes, the universe is expanding.
Yeah, but so okay, maybe, I mean, fine. But maybe you can look into the redshift. You know, when you hear an ambulance coming, you can hear the sound. Gets bigger, louder and louder and louder, and then it disappears, right? There's something called the red shift, because it's in the spectrum of that. So you can go and study in terms of why we have this kind of things in the stars, and their light seems to be behaving that way, because things are moving apart from each other. And that is how we conclude. So, you know, the fact that you are wearing, all this, very comfortable clothes and so on, is because of this engineering of maths and physics. Yes. But you could have been just wearing some leaves, but you're not.
True.
You're wearing something that helps you from getting cold.
There's actually ducks in here, or geese or something.
Yeah. Someone put it together knowing that it's going to provide you some warmth. So the fact that our science works, our maths and our physics works to produce a jacket like this, likewise, the science behind the understanding of the expansion of the universe has been works, and has been proven by the experiments, the methods they have done. So it is not simply that someone came up with this very fantastic idea. At least this one we know for a fact. For example, you can go outside the Earth and prove the flat earthers the Earth is not flat. We can do that,
If
right?
you try doing that, they will not accept that.
But
They will not
if
accept
we
it.
if we were to trick them,
I've seen videos on YouTube, airline pilots who understand the navigation around the Earth, because that's what they do whenever they fly an aeroplane, trying to explain to a
we
flat
still have
earther,
flat earthers.
trying to explain, like directly trying to explain to a flat earther why we know the world's not flat, because we can make aeroplanes go to other places and they land where we expect them to land, by understanding the shape of the Earth. And the flat earthers go, no,
So,
lie to me,
but if
fake
we were
news,
to,
fake news.
we know. But if we were to really take seriously a flat earther on a spaceship and go into our orbit and orbit the whole Earth around it, then at least if they're sincere enough, they would have seen the shape of the Earth, that it's not flat. So there are things like this in science where we have come to a certain understanding, a level of understanding, but our levels will get better and better. Like once we thought atom is the smallest thing that you can look into. We're breaking down atoms into even smaller and smaller, to not only like heptons and gluons and gluons and hadrons. We're talking about all this, subatomic, subquantum particles, whatever they want to call it, quarks.
Yeah, something like that. And then it's about
Our knowledge is expanding, and everything after that is like energy fields, whatever.
the youngest older.
But it doesn't get away from the fact that our universe demonstrates evidence of design, conscious assemble.
If you told me,
I can barely hear what you guys are saying with all that noise.
we're just having a conversation, they're the ones having the
Yeah,
interesting
I
argument.
don't want you guys to shout over that.
Alex, this is Alex. What's your name?
Jenna.
Alex and Jenna. Alex, you think like he doesn't know, but he reads a lot, as you have mentioned in passing. So we were just having a discussion about the possibility of coming to a reasonable conclusion of a creator for our universe, and Alex is still like, we can't know yet because there's a lot to know.
If you told me there was 486 gods who all sat round a big holy table and worked out a plan for the earth and then got their minions to put that into effect, that to me sounds more likely than
I will tell you that it's not more likely to me. I'll tell you.
omnipotent,
Okay, let me tell you why.
powerful.
Let me tell you why, as opposed to what you think is more likely, that there could be many of these causative agents for our cosmos. Now, when we say the universe, our cosmos is contingent, dependent, it needs to be dependent on something that is not contingent itself, has to be independent. Otherwise, we ask the same question. What is that creator dependent on? Because itself is dependent. Eventually, you have to come to the conclusion that it has to depend on something that is independent. And here's the problem. You cannot have more than one absolute independent being in reality, rationally speaking, because it simply doesn't. Okay. When we talk about independent beings, independent, absolute entities, there will be chaos and corruption in our working of the universe. Independent means no compromise. Both of you drive. Yeah? Have you ever driven a car where you have two different steering wheels, independent, and you can take your car wherever you want? If I give you a car, actually there are some cars driving instructors. Driving instructors.
Dual controls, right?
Dual controls.
And they're freaky,
Independent.
They're freaky as fuck to drive in.
Jenna wants to take to the car to Leeds on the north, and you're going to go to Brighton in the south.
Yeah.
Where's the car going to go?
Probably where she wants it to go.
Can it go to both of the places at the same time?
Cut it in half.
There will be conflict of will, because this action of the car to go from a particular position, static position, to north or the south, it's not going to happen because you have a conflict of will. And if you're absolute, if you're absolute in your will, that's my point. If you're absolute in your will, if Jenna says my will is command, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm not going to compromise, then you will see that it's not going to happen. The car either goes to Leeds, where she wants, making you not absolute and in control of your will and your power. If you're God, and if you're all-powerful, and you willed it to happen, to take over there, you'll be a miserable failure in your godship, whatever you want to call it. Because the one that manifested in terms of the power, absolute power and will, was Jannah, the goddess, right?
Well, actually, had the will for the sun to come up
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I wish I had the will for the sun to go.
Right. So you see, there can only be one absolute being in reality. Otherwise, that's one of the things that the Quran actually points to. The Quran, we believe, is a divine communication from our Creator. It says, had there been more than one absolute being, there will be corruption and chaos and ruin. And I've just given you an example.
I feel like the world's full of corruption and chaos.
The world is still under control of one originator, designer.
It's doing a rubbish job.
No, it's not doing a rubbish job. Why are these stars?
Everyone fucking hates each
Hang
other.
on. That's people's own choice. Okay, let's address that point. The fact that people hate each other is because the Creator has...
These guys.
Yes, I know your example. Because the Creator has given us human beings a limited amount of free will in which we can exercise our will to agree or disagree.
You've given us a bit more humanity and a bit more sensitivity.
No.
Maybe
The Creator has given us
a bit less of a desire to
moral
fuck each other
guidance.
up.
No, moral guidance to answer Alex properly now. Alex, the Creator doesn't want us to act like them, act like, really irrational people.
Buddy, they're all agents of the Creator, right? We've
But
got a Jewish friend here.
there is a code of
Muslim
conduct.
fella here.
But there's a code of conduct the Creator wants us to follow. The Creator has given us a
both
particular
following their code
set
of
of
conduct.
operating system in ourselves, which we can operate within our moral behavior or our moral code. But He wants us to exercise our moral behavior within a set of boundaries which are acceptable. He doesn't want us to be mocking and sarcastic and insulting and denigrating and putting people down. He says, no. Even though we are able to do that because of your free will, the Creator doesn't want us to use that. He says it is not a good code of conduct. So when you see the exercising of these free will, it is not that the Creator is somehow defunct or doesn't exist. It is because the Creator has endowed within us this faculty of free choice. And with that free choice, we will be accountable for how we used it. Because we are created for a purpose. The Creator could have made us all perfect, like robots, right? Imagine someone wants to stab and it becomes butterflies. Someone wants to say something bad to you, wow, flowers drop up from his mouth.
Like that one.
Yeah? Imagine.
Could we live in that world, please?
But in that world, there is a world where there will be all happiness, tranquility, joy, and bliss, but that's the hereafter in paradise. You have to really work for it to go there. But if that happened here, then you would say, I have no free will, I have no free choice. I want to, these people, I want to just slap this guy because it don't make any sense. For example, right? Alex wanted to, but he can't. The moment he wanted to slap his hand, butterflies and all these things. So you will say, like, where's my free will? So you will say that I don't have a free will.
Or perhaps I'd say, what am I doing thinking about stabbing people? Thank you for turning it into a butterfly and teaching me what an idiot I was trying to stab the fella.
Yeah, so...
You can have lots of free will, but just not the free will to be a...
So free will not to do
bad
anything
person.
evil.
Yeah.
So then once you'll still find, if you have not free will to do anything evil, then what is the distinction between evil and good? Are you doing anything good or evil? Because you don't know what evil is. Because you can't do anything evil. So what you're doing, you don't even know whether it's good or not, because you think it's good. Good and bad, we appreciate by contrasts. Happiness and suffering, appreciate by contrast. If there was no darkness, you would not even appreciate what light is.
Shakespeare said that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Clever guy. Yeah. But this is something that is generally understood in our understanding of, this again, some kind of the comparison and contrast. We can appreciate the world. Beauty and not beauty and so on, you appreciate. Come on, Alex, of course. He knows that very well. So we go by...
think I'm...
of course.
You're the first person to ever say that.
So when it comes to multiple causative agents of our universe, it doesn't seem rational to subscribe to that view. In fact, the view which is most rational is that there is only one absolute entity who possesses will, intent, and of course power. We can go even beyond that and we can say, what else does that agent, the originator of the universe, has as a sort of characteristics? Will, of course, the intention. Power has to be. Without energy and power, you can't be. Self-awareness has to be, otherwise, you're back to your kitchen example, nothing's going to happen. When you have self-awareness, when you have power, and when you have will, this is now becoming a personal agent. Like yourself making tea, a personal agent. When you have a personal agent, has a reason why he created us. So we are talking about a personal agent who has certain understanding of things. So we say our speculation may give us an understanding of our originator of the universe, but the only infallible way that we can be certain about why we're here, what are we doing, is by when the independent, absolute agent, creator, tells us, then we've been certain. Otherwise, I can say like happiness is the purpose of life, or having a cigar, or having friends. Yeah, that could be it. But people can come up with their own ideas of what is the purpose of life. That is why we say the purpose of life can only be known for certainty, with certainty, when our originator tells us. When the infinite, independent, absolute tells the finite, limited, independent, then we can be certain. That makes sense, doesn't it? And this is how we say the absolute creator has sent us guidance throughout times as prophets and messengers, warn us to tell people how should they live their life, how should they have the relationship between them and their creator and their fellow created human beings or other things. The environment, for example, are you going to just cut the tree just because you want to like it, or you're going to be responsible for a bad action you're doing? So in Islam, we have to look after the environment, let alone people, whether they're poor or rich and so on. So there is a whole do's and don'ts for a reason, so that we operate within this life to be successful here and successful in the hereafter, because that's why we are placed here. We could have been placed directly into the place you said, like happiness, without any of the, love and the feeling of joy and bliss and tranquility. But that is something that we need to make sure that with a free will agent like ourselves, that we deserve to go to there, rather than deserve to go to a place of where we'll be punished for our disobedience or our what's called arrogance and stubbornness in terms of rejecting the truth. So Quran is something that I would advise you or recommend you to look into, where ask yourself, if this Quran is not from God, what do I expect it to say or expect it to have information about? You can have falsification tests for it, to disregard it. I mean, am I going to believe Harry Potter is the book of God? I'm not. Firstly, it doesn't say it's from God, so why am I going to even bother? Yeah? So any book people bring to you, you're not going to say, okay, maybe it's from the creator of the cosmos. It needs to demonstrate. It needs to give us something that our heart and our mind will be content. Our heart and our mind needs to be content that this seems to be a piece of information or a book that I can, with some satisfaction and contentment, accept it's from God. But it cannot be from other than God. That is what we need to operate our minds.
So how did people put God's word into effect before there was books?
So
books are pretty new.
The information that we have from our Creator is from day one when human beings were placed on this earth. Our Creator has been sending guides, warners, prophets and messengers who tell people what their purpose of life is, how should they live their life. Some of them came up with instructions as books. Some of them were just simply reminding what the other books was, the codes of life, the codes, you can say the divine guidance which are codified in a book form. So there are many books in the past. We believe that's the difference. The final book, the final guidance from God has been sent through the final messenger. So Islam is not a new religion. Islam is the culmination, the perfection, or the end of God's prophets and messengers and his message, his guidance, with the final prophet and the final messenger. That means every other prophet and messenger that came with the same message of subscribing and surrendering oneself to the will of that creator. Do you not often surrender your will to say, okay, fine, you know what, I agree? We do. So we just simply need to surrender our will to the will of the one we can surrender to, because if he's the one who created us, why am I going to be arrogantly saying, no, I know better how to conduct my life rather than the one you created me. Yeah? The one who the one who manufactures a piece of, something like a camera or a phone, whatever that might be, right, are in a better position to tell you how to operate it, how it will function best. Imagine now this is not waterproof. I try to now film underwater. It's going to get damaged. It's not going to work. Human beings, we need similarly how to operate how to operate our life in this mess that you have seen earlier on.
Right.
Really seriously.
Right.
Because people need to know how best to conduct our lives. Because sometimes with our own speculation, with our own gut feelings, with our own, wishy-washy thinking, we can really be seriously in error and jeopardize the whole of human race, let alone the whole of the earth. Like racism is such a disease where just because I think you are of a particular race, of an ethnicity or a color or a language, I despise you and I want to get rid of you. You know what many people did in the past? Because of this racial differences, ethnical differences, difference of color, language, whatever, they have this kind of, looking down upon someone and said they don't even want them to be existing because, conflict of power and will and whatever. God, of course, the one who created us, our creator, created all of us with the diversity. And you'll be surprised to find a particular statement in the Quran that God created, the Creator created us